I'm Italian, but I live in California. And I coach, work with entrepreneurs. And recently, because of my TEDx fame, I started to work in Italy. And the Italians are asking me, you know, these Americans, guys, are really that good? Because, you know, I have friends now who are from Silicon Valley. They are just in the heart. Some of them were in the heart of this unbelievable technical and this entrepreneurial revolution. And so, you know, we have a pilgrimage of people from all over the world. They come to Silicon Valley to look at this beast. What is this? How is it possible that only the alumni of Stanford University have created companies worth $2 trillion? What is that these guys have? Is there something, Ernesto? And so I've been trying to think about an example that I could use to talk about culture. Because you see, I've never studied business. I'm a psychologist. I work with entrepreneurs using Rogerian psychology, you know, this shut up and listen. The client is at the center of the relationship. So it's very organic, it's very humanistic in a sense. So I was trying to find an example to explain to the Italians the difference between Italian culture and American culture. And I was lucky enough to have this story told to me by a couple of Americans who, some 15 years ago, bought a house in central Italy. And they started to come very often. And they had a long train journey in Italy some 15 years ago. And they told me what happened during the lunch. They said, well, we will be in the train for a number of hours. What are we going to do for food? At that time, the train that they were taking was one of those old-fashioned trains, you know, with the carriage, with the 4 seats here, 4 seats there, you know, those, and, you know, the little table, all the luggage on the racks. So these are two very sensitive people. They are beautiful, you know. One is a poet, one is a very well-known photographer, artists, very sensitive. So they had prepared 2 sandwiches, you know, white bread, wrapped in plastic. And 4 hours into the trip, she told me that she felt so horrible because all these other people in the compartment, these families, nobody knew each other, they were not eating. And they were peckish, you know. And then the Americans always eat 3 hours before the Italians, in any case. So what she did, she reached in her purse and she passed under the table a sandwich to the husband. And they had books. And quietly, hiding behind the books, because they felt ashamed to eat in front of these people, they finished that miserable little sandwich. And she said, Ernesto, 10 minutes later, the Italians had lunch. And they stood up and they got the lasagna from the top and the wine came out and the cakes, and they shared with everybody. And it was this unbelievable, it was 1 hour of eating, laughing, getting to know each other, was an orgy of food. Americans do business the way the Italians do lunch. Once you understand that, it's easy. Once you understand that, it's easy. Italians are scared of doing business. They are going to steal my idea. Don't trust anybody. How does the Sicilian father teach the boy, the 3-year-old toddler? The Sicilian father gets the toddler on top of the refrigerator and says, jump to daddy, jump to daddy, jump to daddy. And the 3-year-old who's scared jumps, and the father moves aside. Bam! Didn't I tell you not to trust anybody? If you have that kind of culture, how can you do business? How can you do business? So when I arrive in, what I'm trying to explain to all these people coming, and people coming to Silicon Valley, they come as pilgrims. It's a little bit like the people coming to the Vatican City to try to find God. The only thing they look at is basilicas and marble. The church is not a building. The church is the group of people who share a belief. That's a church. So people come to Silicon Valley, they go and see the new building of Apple. You're not going to learn anything by watching that. That's the basilica. That's like going to see St. Peter. Jesus Christ is not in there. You're looking in the wrong place. So what they miss is this absolutely extraordinary feeling, this conviviality. Americans share a passion for business. You cannot go to a cafe, I live there. You cannot go to a cafe in California and say 2 words. There would be somebody say, oh, you do that? Oh my God, you need to know Mark. Whoa, let me call him. Mark, it's like that. They're crazy. Like say, you're Italian. Oh my God, my uncle is Spanish. You have a cat. Oh my God, you have a dog. I have a cat. And they do that for business. It's unbelievable. So when I arrived in America, I studied the history of entrepreneurship because I was really curious. How do they do it? And what I discovered, doing the study about books written during the time of, Rockefeller, Henry Ford, Carnegie, what I discovered is that they were never alone. There was always somebody that was their friend, their partner, who could tell them no. And if you look at modern companies in Silicon Valley, Steve Jobs was not alone. Steve Jobs without Wozniak would have been nobody. What are we talking about? Every single company in Silicon Valley was started by 2, 3, or 4 people. And yet, when we go to Silicon Valley, we fail to see that. And there are all these world experts. They go to Silicon Valley, then they come back here in Europe, and they create incubators, accelerators, and genius labs that have never existed in Silicon Valley. And what they do, they take few brains, and they are all mostly male, middle-class nerds. They lock them into a ghetto, and they say, create. What? That was never the way Silicon Valley was the intersection of the laboratory with the main street. Because that's where innovation happens. Invention happens in the lab. But innovation happens in the streets. So what are we doing? And the new generation, all these incubators, 99% of startups fails now. 99%. I think it's an optimistic figure. I think it's more than 99% failing. And then there is this absolute ignorance, and I have to say, I'm sorry, but it's pure ignorance. People talk about entrepreneurs as if the entrepreneurs were the business people. No. There is no, entrepreneurs don't make any money. Entrepreneur is a quality of the soul. Thank God I studied Latin. You know where the word comes from? Intraprehendere. It's a Latin word. You know what intraprehendere means? The first among others to get it. That's the meaning of the word entrepreneur. The first among others to get it. But it's a quality of the soul. It means somebody with vision and courage. Somebody with vision and courage doesn't make any money. To make money, you need to have other stuff. You can invent it, you can see an opportunity, but unless you can commercialize it, what's going to happen with the opportunity? And the other thing is that don't even think. So what we try to explain is that the fact that you are a visionary, the fact that you see an opportunity, doesn't make you any money. The money is when you have somebody who's not you, because if you're a visionary, inventor of a product, you are far too attached to the product to go and take it to the market. Because after 3, 10 rejection, you commit suicide. So never, ever, ever send the inventor to show the product, because the inventor cannot take criticism. So you have to have somebody next to you, somebody who has a passion for people, to take this product to the people who say, well, you want it. No. Why? Oh, I want a pink. Pink? We work for the army. I want a pink. So go back and say, they want a pink. Never, never, we work for the army. We can go poor working for the army, or if we paint a pink, we make lots of money. Okay, let's paint the pink. So what happened is that you have to take the product to the market, you have to see what the people say. You modify your product until, the people want it. And then you have a third person, the money person, who come and say, hey, guys, we cannot give it for free. We need to make some money. How do you call a business that doesn't make any money? A hobby. So now we need somebody who says, hey, guy, we cannot give it for free. We need to make money because this is a very good product. And if we die as a company, the people will not be able to benefit from this. I'm really upset because my love is with millennials. Millennials are, to me, is the greatest generation. This generation of entrepreneurs is phenomenal. I want to help them to change the world. We don't have the technology, the green technologies, to feed, clothe, transport, cure, communicate, connect 7 billion people. We don't have those clean technologies. And if we keep going with old, rubbish technology, there isn't enough to go around. So entrepreneurship is not a game. You cannot tell me that failure is the new normal in entrepreneurship. How dare you? You are teaching classes in failing well. Failing is trending. It's a meme. Are you crazy? 99% fail. If the Monte Carlo casino had the odds where 99% of the people would lose their shirt, nobody would go there. The odds. So what we have to do, we have to truly teach these young, fantastic, visionary entrepreneurs how to become business people. And the way you do it is you teach them the truth. No man, no woman has ever done it alone. If you're alone in business, you die. Business is 3 things. Creating a beautiful product or a beautiful service, put it in the market, get the feedback of the market, and modify the product accordingly. Make sure that you can produce it for less than what it costs you to make it. It seems very simple. Why aren't we teaching it? Universities are still teaching one person to write a business plan. In our methodology, it's prohibited for one person to write a business plan. How can you write a business plan if you hate marketing? Are you kidding me? So first we form the team, and then the team writes a business plan. but your marketing director has been for a year in the streets knocking at doors. Would you use it? If we make this product at this price, would you use it? Yes, put it in writing. People say, oh, you know, we need money. No. If money was important in business, Monte Carlo would be an entrepreneurial center. Monte Carlo is not. It's not. You need a passion. You need a really passion for business. You need to have people playing the game and be so smart to keep doing what the entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley has always done. Talk to each other. Find the missing team. The title for this speech is Connected Passions, and this is what I believe that we should learn to do. There is something organic about business, and the way I would like to describe it is this. You are not going to put a new baby in the world unless two DNA merge. The female DNA, the male DNA have to merge for a new life to be born. In business, it's 3 DNAs. The DNA of the inventor who sees the opportunity and develops the product, the DNA of the person who loves the public, offers the product, gets the feedback to modify and to adapt the product to the needs of the clients, and the financial person. So we call this the Trinity of Management, and we have set up some 55,000 companies in the last 35 years, simply telling people you will never make it alone, because if Steve Jobs, if Richard Branson, if Steve Jobs could not make it alone, who the hell you think you are? Thank you.